Hey everyone, how are you glowing? Happy Sunday. It is Sunday, May. Look, happy Sunday. It is Sunday. It is May 6th, and I feel the transformation happening. Like when you learn to go with the flow of God and just embrace the journey, embrace the making, because this is really what it is all about. The journey is embracing the transformation. The journey is embracing the molding, the making, the forming of it all. And I just want to encourage you, as I encourage myself, to be okay with the fact that some things don't go the way that you want them to go. And or some things don't go the way that you expect them to go. And it might not be the time, it might not be the season for whatever it is that you think should be happening, like for instance, when I hear about my friends buying in family that are like me and my husband age, and they're buying homes or have already bought a home, I feel some type of way for a few minutes, and then I quickly like just get it out of my mind, because it's up to me to prepare for that. So my season is preparation, and then my season will come when it's time for me to buy a home, right? So in anything that you're going through, it is always preparing you. It is always, God is always making you, he's putting pressure on you to make that diamond. This is what, my papa, we call him Papa at church, our pastor, our leader, our prophet. This is what he talked about today. And the things that we go through is transformation. And it's up to you to be in that mindset of learning and changing, like change, which is, you can't transform if you're not willing to change. And for me, this is how I know that I am transforming. This is how I know that I am changing, because I changed my language about a lot of things now. Like some things this time a few months ago, or this time last year, or whatever, I would have handled totally different. Like this situation with, we thought we were going to be moving to Georgia, and right now it's not happening right now. But I've learned to look at it as, it's not as failing. It's not, oh my God, this is always happening to me. This is me learning that now is not the time. It's just not the time. And I know it's not, because we're not prepared in certain areas to move to Georgia. We're not, like, there's just some things that I know that have to happen before we can move to a whole nother state. It's different for everybody. Some people just up and go, and by faith, things work out for them. But I know for me, because I seek God wholeheartedly, or that's my goal in my mind. I'm not perfect, but I do seek God's will for my life. So right now, maybe Georgia is not supposed to be something that happens right now for us. And you think doors are constantly closing or doors aren't opening, but you have to make sure that you continue to fight, and you pray, and you embrace the journey. So be okay with the fact that things are not going the way that you planned. Look at it as if maybe it's not the time. Maybe, like I said, it's not the season, but you don't quit. You don't give up. You don't look at yourself as a failure. That's one thing you do not do. You don't quit. Like, you don't just quit and be like, oh my gosh, and just give up. Like, that's the one thing you do not do. And that's what I used to do. I would just quit. I'd be like, oh, it didn't work out, so whatever. My mindset is different now, and I encourage my husband to remain positive. I tell him, like, okay, now is just not the time for us to move to Georgia. The world is not over. Like, Georgia is still going to be there. It's just up to us to pray about it. We set a date for us to move, and if it's God's will and we're prepared, it will happen for us. But right now, it's just not time, and we know that personally, because we know that there are some things in our life that we need to work on before we even make a move like this. Just even personally, like individually, we need to work on some things, In our marriage, we need to work on some things like, in a sense, my husband and I, we need to learn to be team players in our marriage. And I truly believe that that's something that we need to work on before we move to a whole nother state where we barely know anybody. It's, it just, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because I know God is doing things in my life, and I know that He is moving, and I know that I am growing, and I am transforming, and I am, a seed that is planting, like the roots are finally implanting themselves, and I am in the process of blooming, and I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. I am okay with that. I'm sorry, this light is making me look all oily and stuff, but I am okay with that, and just be okay with it. But don't give up, don't quit. Sometimes you have to come up with another strategy, another plan, or you just have to keep moving until God says, okay, this is it. This, when it's God making moves, like, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is it. This is an opportunity. This person I'm supposed to meet. Like, I look at it like that now. So when things aren't going my way, I know things are going God's way. And that's the only thing that matters. And you have to be careful of trying to make things go your way, because that is not always, because what we want is not always best. It's about what we need. There's nothing wrong with having desires, because God says, tell Him the desires of your heart. And if your desire aligns with what He has planned for your life, it's going to happen. But there's a process, and there's time, like a time frame that you have to go through for things to happen. So God will open doors when He say, okay, you're ready for this, and you're ready for that, and you're ready for this. And I'm not ready for Georgia, maybe. My family's not ready for Georgia. My marriage might not be ready for Georgia to move to just a whole nother state, period. And I look at it as God has some things for us to do, for me to do, for Him to do, for our family to do together, still here where we're at right now. And I'm okay with that, because it's God's will that matters. It's His plan that matters. So even though I thought I had a plan, God always says, your thoughts are not my thoughts, your ways are not my ways. And you have to go through things, circumstances, trials and tribulations and troubles, to understand that God will do whatever He has to do to make you understand that. So I want to encourage you to just be inspired with or by your journey, your life right now. Just look at everything and embrace, and look at everything and just think about what was the lesson in everything that you've gone through, so you don't repeat cycles, because you don't want to be here this same time next year saying, I'm still in the same place. Like, definitely not me. I just definitely don't want to be there. Like, May 2019, I do not want to be saying I'm still here in the same place. Like, that's how you know when your life is moving, when there is change the following day, the next month, the next year. That's how you know. So be okay with the fact that life might not be going the way that you thought it should be. Oh, that's the rain. Be okay with it, and just keep moving. Don't quit. Don't give up, because Mom, you cannot give up on your family. You can't give up on yourself. You can't give up on the will of God. You can't give up on your purpose. You can't give up on your destiny. You cannot give up on the goals and visions and dreams that you have, because it's not only for you. It's not only for your family. It's for nations. That's what was said in church today. What God wants you to do is for nations. So when to me, just looking at your family as the reason why you do things is like kind of like tunnel vision, but not tunnel vision. But you need to look at it in God's way. He sees you touching nations, and if life was going the way that you wanted it to go, you probably wouldn't be able to touch nations, because Our mindset can be so small, even when we think that it's big. We don't see ourselves impacting nations. We just see ourselves impacting our family and people in our city and our state. We don't see ourselves touching millions and billions of people in the world, because we see our whys as only our family or getting out of debt, and those are small things to God. Like, God's like, yeah, I could do that, whatever. Yeah, you could do that, but I need you to do something for the nations. I need you to help the nation get out of debt, Crystal. That's what he could be saying to me. He could be saying, like, Crystal, I want you to help women in these countries that don't have access to what you have access to. Help them get out of poverty. Help women that do not see the bigger picture, that don't see themselves impacting nations. That's how I want you to think. So it's not only about our children. It's not only about our retiring our husband. It's not only getting out of debt. It's not only buying a home or buying our dream car, or it's not about those things. Those things are material things. And yes, our family is important. God knows why he put my family together specifically. But we have to look beyond that, because when we can impact nations, we've already impacted our family. We've already impacted our community. We've already impacted our state. So see yourself touching nations. I see myself touching nations, doing this, speaking to you, writing through, helping nations get out of debt. I mean, we don't know, but I'm okay with the fact that my life did not go as planned, because if my life was going as planned, it would be something very small that I thought was big. But God is saying, no, girl, that is not big, and I'm going to need you to just get yourself together. That's what he was saying to me these past couple of years. Just get yourself together. Let your plan go, so I can open up your eyes for real and show you what I really want you to be doing. And that makes me feel so good. So be okay with the fact that life does not go as planned, because God has something bigger and greater for you. Your plan is so small in the eyes of God, and he wants to expand your vision. He wants you to do so much more. He wants you to be fearless and on fire for him, and just do what he has created you to do. He didn't create us just to make children and marry, and he didn't create us just for that. And I believe that. That might not be your opinion, but I believe that. So be inspired today and see yourself impacting nations. Whatever it is that you do or you want to do, you desire to do, see yourself presenting that to nations. It seems impossible, but I, Crystal, will be touching nations. So remember to glow, remember to affirm yourself, remember to do what makes you happy, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. Follow me on the Mommy Glowup on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook too, but the link is in the Instagram page, so go follow me there, and I will talk to you guys soon.